Hello everyone and welcome to Physics and Dynamics tutorials. In this tutorial we will solve a problem related to Newton's second law and motion of an object up or down on an inclined plane. This is the classical problem that in a more complex form appears in a number of engineering and aerospace applications. Consequently, it is very important to know how to accurately solve this problem, and after watching this video tutorial, you should think about real-life physical systems that can be modeled by this problem. Also, you should analyze the derived equations for the acceleration and reaction forces. But before I start with explanations, I need to mention the following. It took me a significant amount of time, energy, and planning to create this completely free video tutorial, as well as more than 300 free video tutorials that you can find on my YouTube channel. And consequently, I kindly ask you to press the like and subscribe buttons. Thanks a lot! Here's the problem statement. A box of mass m is pulled by a force F up the inclined plane. The angle of the inclined plane is 30 degrees. If the coefficient of the kinetic friction between the box and the plane is mu, determine number 1. Normal reaction force that the plane is exerting on the box. Number 2. Acceleration of the box. Let's solve this problem. To solve this problem, we need to perform several standard steps. In the first step, we need to introduce a coordinate system and we need to construct a free body diagram. Let us first construct the free body diagram. Here's my box. And let's analyze the forces that are acting on this box. Obviously, we have the force F. Here it is. Then we have the weight of the box. The weight of the box is represented by the vector mass times g, where g is the gravity acceleration. Then we have the reaction force N. The reaction force N is actually perpendicular to this surface of the inclined plane. Usually, we denote the reaction force by N. This is the normal component of the reaction force. In addition, we also have a friction force. Next, we need to determine the direction of the friction force. In the problem statement, it's written that the box of mass m is pulled by a force F up the inclined plane. That is, the movement of the box is in this direction. This implies that the friction force should act in the opposite direction. That is, the friction force should have this direction. It should oppose the motion. Usually, we denote the friction force by F with the subscript mu, where mu is given in the problem statement, that is, mu is the coefficient of the kinetic friction. And here's our free body diagram. Next, we need to introduce the coordinate system. One approach would be to use this coordinate system, x, y. However, this coordinate system will lead to complex equations. This is because we will have to decompose all four forces onto x and y axis. That is, we will have a lot of sinus and cosinus terms. So can we somehow more wisely select the coordinate system such that the equations of motions are simplified? Yes, we can. A better option is to introduce the following coordinate system. We can assign the x-axis to be in the direction of the inclined plane and the y-axis to be perpendicular to the surface of the inclined plane. And over here I will sketch again the coordinate system This is our y-axis, and this is our x-axis. Perfect. This was step number 1. That is, in step number 1, we constructed a free body diagram and we introduced the coordinate system. In step number 2, we need to sketch the kinetic diagram and we need to construct the equations of motion. Here's the kinetic diagram. I will simply take my box and I need to add the vector ma, where m is the mass and a is acceleration. By reading the problem statement, I can figure out that the acceleration is in this direction. Consequently, the vector ma, that's actually called an inertial term, should be oriented like this. Should be parallel to the inclined plane. Here it is. This is the kinetic diagram. Again, the vector ma goes in the negative direction of the x-axis. Here I have to give one comment. In the problem statement, it is assumed the direction of movement. However, often in practice, you will not know the direction of movement. The direction of movement will depend on the force F, on the coefficient of friction, and on mg. In these type of situations, the best strategy is to introduce the ma vector in the positive direction of the x-axis. We can do the same thing in this example. However, let us follow the problem formulation. Next, we need to apply Newton's second law. We write mass times the acceleration vector is equal to the sum of all the forces acting on our box. So let's see what are the forces. We have the force F, then we have the force F mu, then we have the force mg, and we also have the force N. You should note over here that we didn't add the signs in front of these vectors. This is because this equation is a vector equation. We will project this equation onto x and y axis and then the signs will appear. Next, we need to project this equation on the x-axis. To do that, we need to introduce the unit vectors. The unit vector of the x-axis is denoted by I, and the unit vector of the y-axis is denoted by j. And let this equation be numbered by 1. If we scalarly multiply the equation 1 by the unit vector I, we obtain the following equation. What is the projection of m times a on the x-axis? We can see that the vector a goes in the opposite direction of the positive direction of the x-axis, and consequently we obtain minus m times a is equal to, let's see what is happening on the right hand side. How about the force F? The projection of the force F on the x-axis is obviously minus F. How about other forces? How about F mu? F mu goes in the positive direction, and consequently we write plus F mu. How about other forces? N doesn't have the projection on the x-axis, so it's 0, and we have the force mg. What is the projection of the force mg on the x-axis? We need to figure out this angle over here. Let's analyze this diagram over here. Over here is the center of the box. We are interested in this angle over here. Let's analyze these triangles. Obviously, this side of this angle is perpendicular to this side of this angle. Also, this side of this angle is perpendicular to this side of this angle. Consequently, this angle must be 30 degrees. Another way to see this is to construct a line parallel to this edge. And let's analyze the angles. This angle is obviously 60 degrees. This implies that this angle over here is also 60 degrees, and since this angle is 90 degrees, we conclude that this angle over here must be 30 degrees, and consequently this angle is 30 degrees. This is a very important observation. Next, let's construct mg over here once more. Here is mg. Here's the line parallel to this plane. And this is our x-axis. And this is our y-axis. This angle is 30 degrees. Or let's write it nicer. Over here, the angle is 30 degrees over here. What is the x projection of the mg? Obviously, the x projection is this vector. If this angle is 30 degrees, this projection is mg sinus 30 degrees. So, over here, we need to write the following: plus mg sinus 30 degrees. On the other hand, we know that F mu is actually equal mu, the coefficient of kinetic friction, times the normal force. Let's substitute this equation in this equation, and let's see the result. We obtain minus ma is equal to minus F plus mu times n plus mg, and let's see, what is sinus 30 degrees? Obviously, sinus 30 degrees is 1/2. And let's multiply this equation by minus 1, and let's see the result. We have mass times the acceleration is equal to force minus mu times n minus mg over 2. This is the first equation of motion. Next, let's construct the second equation of motion. The second equation of motion is obtained by scalarly multiplying the equation 1 by the unit vector j of the axis y, and as the result we obtain the following. What is the component of ma on the y-axis? Obviously, ma doesn't have projection on the y-axis, and consequently we have 0 from this equation. How about the f? F doesn't have the projection on the y-axis, so it's 0. How about the force F mu? F mu doesn't have the projection on the y-axis, and this part is 0. How about mg? Well, to find the projection of mg on the y-axis, we will analyze again this diagram. Here's mg. We know that this angle over here is 30 degrees, and we need to find this projection. This projection is the projection of mg on the y-axis, and this projection is obviously minus mg. What is the angle here? 30, and consequently this projection is minus mg cosinus 30 degrees. How about n? N goes in the positive direction of the y-axis, and consequently we have plus n. We can write this equation like this. mg, what is the cosinus of 30? Cosinus of 30 is square root of 3 divided by 2. And this should be equal to N. And here it is. Here is the normal force. This solves the problem 1. However, we need to determine the acceleration of the box. To determine the acceleration of the box, we need to substitute this equation in this equation. Let's do that. In order to keep this video tutorial as clear as possible, I erased the previous derivation and I wrote the two equations over here. We need to substitute this equation in this equation and we need to find A. Let's do that. We have m times A is equal to F minus, let's see what's happening over here. We have mu and N is given over here, multiplying mg square root of 3 over 2. And we have minus mg over 2. From this equation we have that m times A is F, and let's see what is happening over here. We can take out minus and we can have mg over 2, since we have mg over 2 over here and mg over 2 over here, and over here we have, let's analyze. From this part we have mu multiplying square root of 3, and from this part we obviously have plus 1. And if we divide this equation by m, we finally obtain A is equal to F over m minus g over 2 mu square root of 3 plus 1. And this is the final solution for our acceleration. You can analyze this equation in order to determine its validity and to double check the result. Let's apply a common sense to this problem. Here's the common sense logic. Obviously, the higher the force F, the larger acceleration. And this matches with our equation, since we have a plus sign over here and acceleration is proportional to the force. On the other hand, let's see this term over here. This term comes from the friction and from the normal force. And obviously the friction will oppose the motion of the force F, and consequently we'll have a minus sign over here that will decrease the acceleration. So this equation kind of matches our common sense. Perfect. Okay, that would be all for today. I hope that you like this video. If you like the videos I create, please press the like and subscribe buttons. Thanks a lot and have a nice day.